Next video. Today we're going to talk about Disney World. This is one of those weird ones. Not weird like the adult store weird, but weird for me. It really stood out to me because of how dramatic the event was to me personally. So for those who don't know, I was born blind. So I had no vision when I was born. I don't remember any of this. This is all pre 2 years old, so there's zero memory of this. But apparently, I went through 17 different eye operations, and apparently all over the world. I don't remember any of this. But apparently in my early years, my dad was well off, and he could afford it. This was also, late 70s, so, things weren't nearly as bad as they are now. They were able to fix this eye, and I have basically normal vision in this eye. No stigmas, no problems. Now slightly nearsighted, but that's about it. Glasses corrected that just fine. This eye, however, they could never fix. Basically, from what I understand, the eye is fine, the brain is fine, but the USB cable, the optic nerve connecting the eye to the brain, that was incomplete. It didn't finish growing. There is some there, and the doctor said that would get stronger over time, and it has sort of. And he said your brain will try to maximize what little data it's getting. And so I have two types of vision out of this eye. If I can see motion, so only on the side here, only peripheral. Like I don't see nothing here because this eye's taken. Here I see nothing. Right about there, I see a little peripheral motion detection. I can't see shapes or anything. Like I think I see my fingers, but only because I know my fingers are there. If somebody puts a random object there, I have no clue what it is. I can just tell something is blocking the light. The light is changing. So it's a matter of light and dark. Like if you put a flashlight over here, I can tell right away something's there. And but just 2 or 3 weeks ago, I discovered I actually have a little tiny sliver of color vision in this eye, right about here. It's really weird how I discovered it because I had, best way I can describe it is to use something like a camera. So I was holding my camera in front of my face. And, I'm holding the frame of the camera here. And I'm grabbing the barrel of the lens with my left hand. And I'm looking through the pentaprism. And I put my hand here. And holy shit, it works with the cup. It works with the fucking cup. I didn't expect that. So I'm blocking my vision with the cup. And I can see my finger right there. That about there. It's gone. Because this eye's moving. Okay, I don't really control this eye, so I moved this eye and I lost it for a second, but then I relaxed and it came back. If I look straight ahead, it's about this big of an area. I can see my finger. If I try to look at my finger, it goes away. It's gone now. But if I look straight ahead, so it must be the upper right-hand corner of my eye, I can see my finger touch, and I can actually tell it's my finger, and it's in color. It's just a little area about this big. It's about the size of the tip of my finger. And I was using the camera, and I freaked out for a second because I had my hand on the lens like this, and I was turning it, and when I turned the lens, my finger appeared, and I went like that. I jerked my hand off the camera, and I was like, what the fuck was that? It was like I could see through the camera. You see, from my perspective, it's like it's appearing inside the cup. I can see the cup, and I can also see my finger. Somehow I can see my finger. I know what it is now. It's this eye seeing the finger because this eye is completely blocked, looking through the camera. And your brain puts the two images together. Well, I never had stereo vision, so I had no idea what that looks like. And I would put my finger back and I had my buddy do the same thing. And apparently everybody can do this. I didn't know this. Apparently that portion is working normally. He did the same thing. He put the camera to his eyes, like, put your finger right here. And he's like, oh yeah, I can see my finger. But because your brain is merging two images together, to your mind, it looks like you're seeing through the camera, like X-ray vision, and there's your finger. So I have this little tiny square right about here where I can almost see color vision. It's very soft, it's very light. I can barely see it. In the wrong light, it goes away. If my eye twitches, it goes away. But I thought that was fascinating. So as a kid, however, this really gets fun. We were at Disney World, and we went to see Thriller in 3D, Michael Jackson's Thriller. And it was the sci-fi Thriller, where they were wearing the red costumes and they were in space on asteroids and stuff like that. And you had the red and green glasses. They didn't have the polarized 3D back then. Back then it was I don't know if you heard that or not. That was my neck. Back then it was the red and green lenses. And we're sitting here watching the movie, and some parts of the movie are a little boring to 10-year-old me. I don't know exactly how old it was. I'm just saying 10 years old. It could have been anywhere from 8 to 12. I'm pretty sure it wasn't 12. So probably 8 to 10. And that would put me at, what, 1986, roughly 1986. I'll have to check and see when. Actually, I wonder if there's a record of when Thriller in 3D was showing at Disney World, and if I could use that to narrow down the date. I'm guessing at 10 years old, 1986. If you know when Thriller was shown at Disney World, let me know, because maybe I was a little older or a little younger. But anyway, one of the problems was I was extremely mature for my age, so it's hard for me to gauge how old I was. I was more mature at 10 than my brother was at 20. I mean, it's just, I was a weird kid, okay? Just accept that I was weird. I just saw the world differently. It was weird. So we're watching this movie, and some parts of it are a bit boring, but otherwise, it's a sci-fi movie. It's kind of cool. And, I liked Michael Jackson music at the time. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. And I was more into the Monkees. But then there's a part of the movie that gets weird. And, or I guess it's a music video, not a movie. But I'm sitting here looking at the screen, and I'm like, this is boring. I'm a young kid. I get bored, okay? And once I understand something, if it's not fascinating to me, I get bored even faster. But anyway, it's getting boring because I think the movie glitched. There was an asteroid, just an asteroid, sitting on the screen, just rotating. I'm like, is it going to do something? Is it going to blow up? Or are they going to show a ship landing on it, people dancing on it? What are they going to do? Why is this asteroid just floating here on the screen, spinning? And I guess it sat there long enough that my impatience got to me. And I went to turn to my dad to ask if the movie was broken. And that's when things got weird. Because little 10-year-old me turns left and goes, because everybody in the theater, including my dad and my brother and whoever else was with us, were looking up above us. And they were reaching up as if they were trying to touch something above us, above and in front. And I'm looking at them like, of course, I watched a lot of sci-fi and B-rated movies, the bad ones. And I'm thinking, this is one of those, the aliens hypnotize you on the screen and, take you on a trip, and bad things happen to people if you don't run. Because that's what this looks like to me. And I'm like, my family's going crazy, and so is everybody else in the theater. They're fucking nuts. Like, what the hell is wrong with people? And I just get real quiet, and I'm holding my arms in like this, and I'm like, don't eat me, please don't eat me, don't take me. And finally, the asteroid moves, and the scene changes, and the video finishes, and everybody's excited, and we're leaving the theater, and I'm just about dragging my dad out of the theater, and he finally realizes something's wrong, and he's like, hey, what's the matter? You want to get the next thing? I was like, no, I just want to get out of this place. And he stops. He says, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Did something happen?" And I was like, "Yeah, you guys went crazy." And then the rest of the family stops, and everybody realizes something's going on. And I'm apparently, my dad told me I was shaking, like he got worried because I was genuinely scared. He picks me up to carry me, and I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember the exact words from 40 freaking years ago. Okay, so I'm paraphrasing a lot of this. But nice, this e-bike. But he says something along the lines of, "Hey kiddo, what's the matter? What happened?" And I was like, you guys went crazy. You were all reaching up into the sky like there was something there." And I was like, I was thinking about those weird movies, because we had the one, I didn't know this at the time, but the one store we had in Delaware had a regular video store up front. Apparently Delaware law said you had to have a certain number of regular videos for every adult video you had, and so he had all these VHS videos at the time, and he would bring them home. These were regular, regular B-rated movies, like the when the comet comes to Earth and all the cars come alive and stuff like that. Capricorn One. All these low budget films that I loved because I'm into sci-fi crap like that, and so I watched them all. And he would bring them home. He'd bring home 2 or 3 at a time, and I'd watch them. And he would come home with more. And I always wondered where the hell he got those videos. But he would always come home with new ones, and he never seemed to run out. So I'm going crazy thinking, my family's gone nuts. They're being hypnotized. I'm a child, okay? And he stops and he's like, "You didn't see the asteroid floating in the air?" And I get into dead serious mode. I'm like, "Dad, it's a movie. It's on the screen." And he's like, "Chris, it's 3D. And I was like, "No, it's a movie." He's like, "Did you have the glasses on?" I'm like, "Yes." And he looks at me, he's like, "You didn't see the asteroid come out of the screen and float above us." Hang on. So I had to move. The truck was loud. The I remember him, taking a hold of my face like Dad does and saying, he's like, "Hey, we're fine. The movie was in 3D. It looked like it was coming out of the screen to us." He's like, "You must have something to do with your eyes." He's like, "You have a problem with your eyes." I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "We'll go to the doctor. We'll find out what happened." And we did. We went to Will's Eye Hospital, and they did a full checkup. It was time for it anyway. And my eyes were fine, except for the fact that this one didn't work. And that's when the doctor explained that I can't see 3D movies. That 3D movies require 2 eyes. And he's like, your 2 eyes work together to figure out how far something away is. And I was like a rangefinder. And the doctor, I guess he was surprised, like, "Yes, exactly like a rangefinder." And that's when I learned that, well, a one-eyed person can't see a 3D movie. At least they can't see the 3D effect. Because the way it works is you actually only see the movie. And then there's 2 offset images, whether that be by polarizing or by red-green color. And your one eye only sees one color because it has a filter over it. So the eye with the red filter can't see the red image. You only see the green image. And the eye with the green filter can't see the green image. It only sees the red image. So one eye sees one image. One eye sees the other image. Both eyes see the color image. Your brain removes the color images, the red and the green, and converts that into depth data. And that's how your brain converts that. And so you perceive the red and green as depth information instead of as part of the movie. So you see a regular color movie with depth information. I see, how was it? Whatever color the left eye filters, I could still see that color. So for me, it was a color movie with, I'm going to guess here, I don't know what it was. Let's say it was red and green. So for me, it was a color movie with a green after image that was offset because I didn't get the filtering from the other lens. It's even worse with polarized movies because I can't filter both. I tried taking the polarized lens out of the one eye and putting both over my right eye, and that works. That removes all the polarized depth data, but it makes the movie so dark that I get a headache watching it. So that doesn't work. Not for me, at least. So I went through a living hell watching the Avatar movie in at the Franklin Institute because I desperately wanted to see that extended edition of it, but I had to see it in that crazy, polarized state, which drove me crazy. Why won't this stay put? Suddenly it won't stay put anymore. For 3.5 hours. Let me tell you, while it was worth it once, I would never do that twice because the headache I had when that was done. Because at least the color one, the red green, my brain would eventually just ignore the color side image there. But with the polarized, it looked like it was out of focus, like there was a double image. And so that never filtered. It never got filtered in my brain. So the whole movie looked like an out of focus double image to me, and it was annoying. But so needless to say, I don't watch 3D movies. But that's how I learned that I can't be a brain surgeon, and I can't be a fighter pilot, and I can never see 3D movies. Because all three of those require depth of field. Like it's an automatic disqualification because you need depth of field for those things. And that's it. That was fun. It was interesting learning about that, and it was a good memory, even though it scared the shit out of me. I was waiting for the aliens to come through the screen and take everybody and kill me because I wasn't, falling under their voodoo. I'm a child, so that's the way I was thinking about it. And but that genuinely scared me. I was terrified coming out of that movie. I tried pulling him out of the theater because I wanted to run and get the hell away from that place. But yeah, that was fun. I'll see you in the next video.